habari ya Ndeya?
Ndeya ni kusawa kabisa.
Watu wa Ndeya wanasemaje?
Watu wa Ndeya wanasema tuambie watu wa Nairobi ile place imebaki ya kutafuta kashamba ni Ndeya. It is only 30 kilometers from the city center. There is a vast road network. Maji iko huko, stima iko kwa wingi. Ukitaka sola pia huko kuna kasola kazuri.
Iko mingi.
Kuja hapo Ndeya tafuta
kitu. Lakini mliacha maneno ya mshahara. Ndio kama mnapigana mshahara siku nyingine hapo.
Mshahara tulirudisha na huko chini ukae kwao. Sisi tukae kwetu.
Watu wa Ndeya, naona watu wa Ndeya are very serious tacklers. Kila wakati ukiwa naona kuna majamaa wanatokeleza hapo wanasema Muchendu wetu governor nini. So watu wa Ndeya nashukuru sana. I really want to say hi to you. Watu wa Ndeya, Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Mwadhani arogosho. Tunawapenda zaidi. Ndio dete muno tako linawapenda sana. Asante sana kwa kuweza kujumuika na sisi kila siku na kutupiga support.
Na nataka kusalimia mtu hapo wananichokoza pale kwa WhatsApp group inaitwa Uteti wa Kiambu. Anaitwa John Mogwe.
John Mogwe mmoja?
Yes, John Mogwe alikuanga principal wa United for Kiambu, lakini United for Kiambu is sarabaratika. Tafadhali John Mogwe, it is good to know that you don't hold monopoly of opinion. Najua ananisikiza bana.
Nataka John Mogwe anakujanga hizi kosa. He's a tackler. Labda one of these ndio ndawaleta mutakoliane nyinyi wenyewe na John Mogwe.
Well, I would rather be on the other side of the computer watching him.
What are you trying to say about John Mogwe?
I'm just trying to say with John Mogwe here we cannot have a moment to converse. We can only shout at each other.
Oh,
really? Yes.
So why do you guys shout at each other?
Our ideological differences. If he goes to the west, I go to the east. You see, the problem is that my friend John Mogwe has lived a big chunk of his life in Norway, and he tries to replicate what happens there in this country. I think it is important to get to be alive to the fact that this is Kenya. And
in Kenya,
I don't doubt that we can change and be like Norway or any other Scandinavian well-managed country. But that change takes time. You have to bring people at par. You have to bring people to your level of understanding, and then you move in the same journey. But that doesn't mean that your opinion is the single most important opinion in the Republic. I may not hold
Republic of Kiambu or Kenya.
In Republic
unajua vita zenu ni ya Kiambu.
Republic of Kenya.
Ndeya village.
Sisi hata hatunanga vita na mheshimiwa John Mogwe. Hatunanga vita. But he is from Limuru for your information.
Oh, ni mtu ya Limuru.
Ni mtu ya kwetu Limuru na ni mtu amefanya kazi mzuri ya kusomesha watoto. He has an organization inaitwa Elimu na Ufanisi that pays full scholarship for children.
So no happy to amekose.
He has managed Liloni water project very well. In fact, it is one of the best managed water project as far as I know. The only problem is that John Mogwe sisi wote anataka tuwe kama watu wa Norway. We cannot. We are built differently. We understand issues differently, we process them differently, and eventually we will not it took him 15 years to change his views on issues. Why would he think that the few years he has been in politics he has the capability to change our views and our issues? But nonetheless, John Mogwe is a friend.
Okay.
The only thing that we have with Mogwe is that we have a different in ideologies.
Hiyo ndio shida pekee mko
Hakuna, we don't have a personal issue.
Hakuna tabu nyingine.
Hapana, hakuna tabu nyingine. Nonetheless nimemsalimia na asalimike pahali yako pale Rironi. Na akuje tako bana na mimi nikuwe nyumbani nimwangalie akiwa tako bana.
John Mogwe umekaribishwa officially na Governor Pish Muchendu amesema kuja tako. Karibu sana John Mogwe. Ukuje tuambie ni nani alikanyaga nyanya ya nani ama mahea ya nani pale Kiambu ndio maana mnakanyagana. Nani will be joining us? Okiya Omtatah will be joining us on Zoom. We're going to have him from 8 a.m. shortly. Akuja tuambie pia kunaendaje? Kwa nini hajapeleka corona kotini kwenda kuisu? Bado kabla sifika hapo tuko na mgeni pia leo, mwingine anaitwa Ben Lavuna. Ben Lavuna, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good to see you.
Asante. Good to see you.
Maybe introduce yourself first and karibia microphone. Ama upull your mic.
It's a pleasure to be here this morning on the Tackle Show.
Most welcome.
Yeah.
Hapa watu wanashagananga kabisa. Hapa kwa hapa. Atusema hakuna hapa kufungiana shule, mnafungiana hapa sasa.
You know, hapa ndio mara ya kwanza natumia jina ya Kizungu, so I don't know where you got it. I'm normally known as Mbaya Lavuna.
Mbaya Lavuna.
Mbaya Lavuna. Yeah.
Yule mbaya.
No, where I come from, Mbaya means the one who is walking.
Wow, nice.
Yule anatembea. And Lavuna means the one who was born during harvest season.
Oh, nice.
Kwa hivyo ukishikanisha hiyo majina,
unatembea wakati wa kuvuna.
Ninatembea alafu ninavuna. Kwa hivyo hata hapa nitavuna.
Hallelujah. So unatoka wapi na kazi yako ni ipi?
Mimi ni mkaaji wa Westlands constituency. Na pale ndio napiga kura yangu. Lakini nyumbani kama vile mwenzangu ni Wandia, mimi natoka Lugari constituency, which is in Kakamega County.
Unatokea kwa Lugari?
Lugari kwa Ayub Savula.
Kwa kina Ayub Savula.
Yes.
Lugari ndio ilikuwa
Silas Jirongo.
Silas Jirongo.
Alright. Sawa.
Alright, wacha tusalimia Taklas, alafu tukirudi tunaingia kazi haraka upesi. Nimeona wamekimbia sana kwa wingi. Nimeona watu maneni zimepita haraka sana. Edwin Joke nimeona comment yako ibija kinika kimbia. Justice Ruth mwanza, good morning good people watching from Nairobi CBD. Watu wa CBD senior citizen Eric Wanaina sijui ulienda wapi. Adaitas Komara sema good morning Brian Ciel sema good morning everyone. Good morning to you Brian Shell, Aaron Korir. Good morning Gerald Bitok. Good morning to you Aaron Korir. Benedict Luther. Good morning tuned in from Busia County. Uliama lini? Kumbe ni Okino. Nilikuwa nafikiria ni Benedict Luther. Benedict Okino anasema good morning tuned in from Busia County. Asante sana watu wa Busia. Asante sana watu wa Ingo. Tunawapenda kwa zaidi. Willy Kipkorir anasema watching from Kajiado. Thank you so much Willy Kipkorir. Thank you so much my brother. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you sir. Good to see you. Naona Rotit Rafael Power so mwenyewe anasema asai Gerald. Asai to you Rotit Rafael Power so. Lawrence Kigen Kibla good morning from Eastleigh. Asante sana Matthias Cheboy. Anasema good morning Tatakor watching from Louisiana USA. Watu wa diaspora tunawapenda zaidi Matthias Cheboy. Tafadhali ongelesha Joel Arama. Tuko na show yenu kesho ya Diaspora Voices ili muweze kuja mtuambie baada diaspora vipi na mnafikiriaje na uongozi ambao inaendelea Kenya hii. Dixon Kip anasema good morning Tackle, thanks for yesterday's book I picked it. Thank you so much Dixon. Karibu tena. Rogers Kigen anasema watching from Bomet County. Pauline Cherop amesema ameshare. Thank you so much Pauline Cherop. Hope ulipata kitabu yako pia. Rotij Rafael Posam watching from Diaspora Rongai. Asante sana watu wa Diaspora Rongai. I hope mko na visa huko kabla mjaingia Nairobi. Arama Nyingut anasema good morning Taklas watching from CC Boss. Asante sana watu wa Eldoret. Nzio wakasema ako tayari wakatuse mwenyewe. Jumba Ian Kiptonza watching from Land Down Under. Watu wa Australia tunawapenda zaidi. Thank you so much guys from the Land Down Under. Francis Nganga anasema Muranga represented. Watu wa Muranga wanatia. Mungu anawapenda zaidi pale Muranga na mtupee maji. Nasikia mkasema mnafungia maji na kuja Nairobi. Antonis comes anasema waiting for the show. Tuko hapa tayari. Alora Skin kulaka sama today's panelist ni moto sana. Ni moto ya kuotea mbali. Unajua kuna mtu aliuliza, unaambiaje mzungu mimi ni moto wa kuotea mbali kwa Kiingereza? How do you tell mzungu mimi ni moto wa kuotea mbali kwa English? I'm the fire of dream from far. Ana maika yake sema Mr. Tara.
Direct translation.
I am fire of dream from far. Aiza kidogo sema morning Eldoret iko kama dawa sana building and so much. Team just you don't have to figure out how God is in control. The universe, he controls the universe, he controls fish. One time he told Peter to go to the lake and the first fish got air coins inside it to pay taxes. God controls the economy, he controls finances, he controls your enemies. The scripture says I think jamaa nini yako imepotea tena tukisoma. John Rashid anasema watching from Mombasa. Sana watu wa Mombasa tuwapenda zaidi. Kabon sana watching from Eldoret. Nicholas Kimutai boss Kimtai from Kericho. Pauline Cherop anasema karibu Muchendu. Kipkuru Rote anasema praise God hallelujah. Kibrono Mosea South Australia tukolect watu wa Land Down Under Australia tunawapenda zaidi. Stephen Flames let your maga anasema following from Thika Aslan Nation iko tuned. Asante sana Alex Ogero, good morning sana karibu Muchendu. Sami Meli anasema Kitale Cherangani constituency is well represented here. Gadison Nai Milka Sugut wanaamushwa. Benjamin Ketwanyo anaamushwa. Jackson Bora anaamushwa. Honorable Elikana Manjari anaambiwa kujeni. Ana kijana wangu alibadilisha jina hapo Kipchirchira anasema good morning the tackle tuned in from Kapsoya. Ulitoka Kabenes. Kimtai Vina anasema good morning good discussion Bedian K. Kuja bwana, kuja uchukue kitabu yako. Anasema good morning tackle being tackled at Thika Kiambu. Anasema Lewin Dhumbi anaamusha Beris Wanjiku Njiri Julian Sioka. chini Jasaya Patrick Muturi, Jen Mbaka, Justus Mituko, Esther Wahome, Beatrice Ogutu, Martin Kila sama mgeni mkweta kwa Samuel Kosgei anasema watching from KK Cherangani. Ereng Maka anasema niko ndani nikiwa Mackinnon Police Station Kwale County. Asante sana watu wa Mackinnon Police Station. Osea Betwell Kipchenza watching from Allingham. Osea bana na usupote sana tukunywa kahawa. Ereng anasema niko ndani nikiwa Mackinnon Police Station Kwale County. Salimia sana crew ya pale Mackinnon Police Station. Jojo Iraki anasema hello, good morning all, good morning to you. Tuned in from Migori County, Wendo Sub County, Yoni Clinton, Professor Vin Mvanya anasema Gerald check this one too, it's my work bro, good stuff. Look at it bro, nitaangalia, lazima tujengane. Dennis Majenda anasema niko ndani. William Mwangi, good morning, tuned in from Utawala kama kawaida. Hila anasema morning Gerald and team, kindly Gerald arrange for a talk on KPLC charges and how they rip off Kenyans. Chero Titsei wa switch off KPLC atakuja next week kuja tuambie kuna nini pale KPLC. David Nyambari watching from Doha Qatar, asante sana. Captain Moyo anasema John Limo tuned in Ngata Kirobon Nakuru, asante sana. Ngezidi kuwapea shoutouts lakini kwa sababu ya wakati acha tuachie, lakini endelea kutuma shoutouts. Ndaanza kucheza naona ndio watu wakisema sasa jidia zama kijana na pesa, GB kijana na pesa. Pesa lazima tutafute. Asante sana, thank you so much for joining us. By the way, pale Maridadi Motors kama uko pale Kiambu Road, kimbia pale Seattle Mall, wende mahali inaitwa Sparkling. Wacheni kupeleka gari car wash, nenda nasuguliwa na gunia. Pelekeni spa, gari inafanywa massage, inatoka kama imekubali kabisa. Kimbia pale Seattle Mall Kiambu Road, pale nyuma kuna mahali inaitwa Sparkling. Ukifika pale useme umetumwa na Bitok, you never know, unaweza chapwa na vocha kama uko Kiambu Road. Kimbia pale Seattle Mall. Kirui mekansema ako inside kutoka Dubai. Asante sana watu wa Dubai, wacha tuanze kazi. Nimesikia mwanzo wale watu ambao wanafanya kazi mtaanza kufanywa kitu inaitwa unemployed tax. Mnataksiwa ndio muweze kulipa watu ambao wana kazi. Muchendu, uko tayari wewe ni mfanyikazi wa serikali? Ndio utajua ujui.
You know, the tax regime in this country continues to amaze me every day. Just the other day they said that they are going to give you the tax holiday in BBI. And then today we are hearing that there will be an employment tax. The question would be, whose fault is it that those people do not have jobs? Has this government created an enabling environment for people to be employed? Have they created an enabling environment for private sector? Because government can only employ not even more. I don't think they can even hit 10% of the total employment in this republic. Therefore, the people who can help government produce and make jobs is the private sector. And this government has failed to hear the cry of the private sector. Today, look at our energy regime. Yeah. We have a very poor system of energy. We have a very poor energy billing system that makes production so high, the cost of production very high. True. Look at the kind of tax you are taxing people who are doing startups. That tax is very high, that private sectors do not see the need to invest in this country. In fact, they continue to live. The other day we were so excited when we saw Dangote in this country coming to say he's gonna invest. Yeah. But he didn't. And he gave two reasons. One, the tax regime was one of the problems that he could not deal with. The other one was that requirement of you have to give a certain stranger 30% ownership because he's a Kenyan. The other issue was the cost of production
and the bureaucracy.
Yes, and the bureaucracy.
Kwanza unasema 30% ya hongo. Ya facilitation, inaitwa facilitation.
Facilitation gani? Inakuanga hongo. That is why we have a cabal within government that has mastered the art of 30%. Because the art of 30% for multinationals coming and the art of 10% for local companies doing business with government, lazima wanatoa hiyo sadaka ya 10%. Therefore, it is not Muchendu's fault that there is a certain young man who is qualified, a technician that would be working and he is not working. It is the fault of government because government has refused to streamline the ease of doing business in this republic so that private sectors can provide more jobs. Therefore, I am not ready to pay an employment tax. I mean, with the kind of rampant corruption that has been propagated by the Jubilee government in the last 7-8 years, why would I pay an employment tax knowing very well that it is not going to reach that young man that I am purportedly making that percentage for. So therefore, this government must wake up and come up with better ways of increasing the tax base so that they are able to, because how many people are employed by government that you will tax an employment tax vis-a-vis the people you are supposed to give that money? What is the percentage of the employed Kenyans vis-a-vis the person we are supposed to apparently contribute an employment tax and give? I mean, even if you put everybody who is employed in this republic and tax them, it will not even meet an inch of those people at home who do not have jobs. I think this government needs to go back to bed and dream again, because an employment tax is something we will gladly have Okiya Omtatah go to court and take this government to task. I mean, imagine this. You are gonna tax me an employment tax. Bitok, I have not been paid for 3 months by the same government.
Yeah.
It has not paid me for 3 months.
Yeah, nani hajakulipa nyoro?
Sasa inakuja
Kwani unaogopa kusema nyoro hajakulipa?
Inakuja unajua sio nyoro wanalipa. Nyoro is the governor. There is a process and the
governor
bureaucracy.
is government.
Oh, governor is government.
Government that's when inaitwa inaanza na govern yote.
I am not responsible for your interpretation.
Nimeona kwanza John Mugu amekuja amekusalimia. John Mugu ameshaingia. John Mugu ameshaingia anasema greetings from amiable John.
John ukiingia Facebook live, rewind kidogo utakuta pahali nimekutaka.
Maana amesalimiwa. Naambia share.
Yes. Na ashare tafadhali. No, I am saying there is no problem in paying an employment tax. It will not, Kenya will not be the first one. But there are major things that makes me think this is not genuine. One, we have a very rampant corruption in this republic that we do not believe our unemployment tax will go to the right people. That is one. The number of those employed vis-a-vis the people we are supposed to be giving an employment tax, it is so big that whatever we are charged cannot be enough for this republic. So rather than this government concentrating on an employment tax to tax those who are employed, I think it will be prudent for them to think how to do ease of doing business in this republic. And I keep saying this, the reason why China has left us behind Malaysia and other economy, it is because those government deliberately decided to do with the startups and mid-level companies and give them ease of doing business. Today, Bitok, we have an SGR termination in Ewaso Kidong. What if we decided we give companies as something to entice them, give them land leases at a zero cost, so that they are able to do business around that port? These are some of the things this government will be doing. If today you give a company land at zero rate and that company is able to produce and put their goods on the SGR to Mombasa, there is a possibility we will have like 20-30 companies doing subsidiaries near, and it will create more employment for the young people. So therefore, this government must not think about the same old things, because you mazi umenitoa pay nalipa value added tax, kama naleta manguo nitalipa import tax, kama naleta gari nalipa duty, import duty. I mean, I'm looking at the licenses I'm gonna pay.
You know, I see where maybe the government was coming from with the idea, because in Sweden...
And Ben, do you even see this thing getting there? You see, the problem in Kenya is not the intentions about it. Will it get there?
It won't get there. It will not get there. Because if we are a government that cannot even account for COVID funds, then that means we cannot account for anything. Because, okay, let me just go back. The idea that they want to tax taxpayers, I think is an idea they are trying to ape from Sweden. If you go to Sweden, citizens pay tax for every child who is born, so that every month every child earns around 15,000 shillings. But you see, their system is very efficient, that they make sure that the money gets to the people that are targeted. But for us, let's even not go far. Let's look at is it called kazi kwa vijana something, eh?
Something close to that.
Yeah, something close to that. Where you wanachukua vijana wanawapeleka kuosha mitaro vijana wa university, which is a very sad scenario. If you look at that, the government had put in structures, but we've seen severally these young people coming on the streets and demonstrating because they've worked and they've not earned. Some who are supposed to be paid, I think, 900 shillings end up being paid 90 shillings. So you can imagine what is going to happen if we have people being taxed without any system of accountability. So I want to support what my colleague is saying. For us, for Kenyans, we've been paying tax, if you look at it. But what we want to see is accountability. You understand?
Yeah.
Without accountability, we will keep coming up with new ideas, new proposals. But at the end of the day, the main person who is supposed to be the beneficiary will always end up getting zero. You understand? So, just as he's saying, the Jubilee government is one of the
Jubilee NASA. NASA is our inside.
Ni Jubinasa to sote ama regard.
But you see, this is coming at a time when you're saying the government is broke.
Yeah.
Is the government trying to fundraise for itself? Because when you say, why now? I mean, the government is supposed to create employment, not to pay people who are not working. You talk about getting employment. And there's coming a time when the government is saying they want to borrow 2.8 trillion. I think 3.8 trillion from International Monetary Fund. The question is, the other day there was the red flags on Kenya's loaning viability, and now they're talking about taxing public servants to pay unemployed. Where is the data on unemployed Kenyans? For me, I smell mischief altogether.
It's mischief because how are you taxing people? This the same government is the government that is telling us that all the public servants have taken a pay cut. You know, the other time I saw Matiang'i saying that they might even take more pay cut, take it even higher because of the rising numbers of COVID. So I think it's a government that is misplaced. And it's a government that doesn't want to sink into reality, and which the reality is that we are broke. So this is just another method of trying now to sustain itself using the common mwananchi.
You know, it is not a simple matter as just paying unemployment tax. If you look at the statistics by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, you realize that we have about 17 million Kenyan who are aged between 14 and 34 years.
Yeah.
And the statistics, I looked at them and they were saying in every 10 unemployed Kenyans, 8 are young people. And every year, 800,000 young adults join an already crowded labor-searching movement in this republic. Every year. The National Bureau of Statistics has shown that in the year 2020, the unemployment in this country has moved from 5% of the first quarter to 10% today. An increase of 5%. That is 100% increase of unemployment in this republic. And I think just talking about unemployment tax, if we look at the chunk of how many people are employed, whether by government or by private sector, and you look at the total amount they would contribute, it is not even enough to sort anything in this republic. Therefore, this government needs to sit down and come up with a policy that is going to address the issue of unemployment. And I have consistently said that any country that has developed in the world has taken care of the mid-level and startup companies in this republic. They have given them an enabling environment. Today, if you want to start a small startup manufacturing company, why can't this government relate these equipments so that I'm able to start a business? Not just telling us you give us tax holiday. You may give us tax holiday, but the cost of starting that business is very high. Why don't we have the government caution the people who are doing startups, the people who are, you know, I see Uhuru Kenyatta doing round tables with the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, which is populated by the big boys. And these people, their sole duty is to ensure you and I do not start a company that can give them competition. Therefore, whenever the president sits down with these big boys, pretending that he is seeking advice from them to help young people start business, it is a very wrong logic. I mean, the government has to make a deliberate decision to involve young people in the problems, because these young people in this republic are so energetic, they are so knowledgeable. I mean, they are. If you sit with these young people, my friend, you realize that this country, we have an industrial youth. They only lack opportunity, capacity building that is supposed to be provided by government to make it. So therefore, as much as they bring the unemployment tax, which is something inevitably we will have to go one way or the other, let us of them create that tax base. Because what is the catch net of that unemployment tax? It is not. It is very low. Today, companies are paying people half pay because of corona. Government has reduced allowances and everything. And then you come to that same person, you have slashed salary by half.
And you want to tax them.
And you want to tax that person. It doesn't make sense. Right now would be not the right time to talk about unemployment tax. If I was the president, I would invest 14 billion that they want to do a referendum. I would invest it on an IT hub in this republic. I keep telling you, Bitok, and I will never tire from repeating that story of Rwanda here. When Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila, was it not Uhuru Kenyatta, the former president, Mwai Kibaki, and Raila Odinga started kazi kwa vijana, pesa kwa wazee. When they started it, Rwanda invested about 3 billion shillings on a tech hub in Kigali, where if you come with your idea and it is checked and it is viable, government would finance you to establish that idea. They would require 3 things from you when they fund you. One, of course, you have to repay the money that they have funded you with. You would have to involve other young people in your idea, and you will have to create local businesses so that you're able to pay tax. Today, a company from China called Huawei is doing its Africa market phones market in Rwanda. They are producing those phones in Rwanda. They are assembling them there. Today, look at the young people of Rwanda. Very industrial-wise, they are doing better than us. IT-wise, they are doing better than us. Because the government deliberately decided to invest in people. Here, we are taking 5-6 billion and putting them to kazi mtaani. It's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame. Kufia nyasi bana. Alafu hii serikali imekuwa tu kwa spin. Spin Kenyans.
But then what happened, Ben? Kulikuwa na zile pesa ambazo walisema the president and his deputy and the civil servants they were taking pay cuts. Have we actually confirmed that they actually took pay cuts, and have we accounted for that money?
You know, it is
money sinema tu tunakulanga Kenya.
It is really hard to even think of accountability with the Jubilee government, because since 2013, if you've noticed, I think this is the most corrupt government that we've ever had, the most corrupt regime, because it's been a scandal after scandal after scandal after scandal, but at the end of the day, it doesn't come back to Mwananchi and tell us that this is the findings. You understand? So instead of bringing up the findings or maybe money that was misappropriated, they will always come up with something new. You know, because even before, I think before, there was something that was happening before the COVID, and the government just came back and covered the same thing with the COVID issue. So if you look at it critically, if you look at the Uhuru administration, I think it's just unaccountable. It's just unaccountable. There is nothing much we can talk about, because we have so many young Kenyans who are very innovative, you know. And these Kenyans, what they just need is a little boost, as my friend is saying, to ensure that their business is sustainable, and we will have them now paying taxes that will go back to the government and support the projects that the government is doing. But instead, we have a government that is highly taxing any innovative idea that is coming up, that is not creating enough opportunity for the young people. Like this year alone, we have had, I think, around 700,000 graduating from university. Are there opportunities that are going to enable, or is the environment going to enable these people to even create employment or opportunities for other people? So I think it's just a fallacy that the government is creating. And it's sad.
Ni sinema.
Ni sinema, ni vipindi.
Alright. Muchendu.
Yes.
Mulisema reggae imesimama, reggae kumbe tune ndio imeongezeka zaidi, walikuwa wameendea guitar. The signature collection has started.
You know,
They are targeting 1 million signatures in 7 days.
they can. They can. It's not a big issue. In any case, they are the system. So called.
So you now believe there's a system.
No.
Finally.
You know, see mambo, mimi sikusema deep state, nimesema system. So please differentiate.
So naamini kuna system.
Kuna serikali.
Iko serikali.
Unajua, even if they do not get those signatures in time, they can always fabricate the one for, what do you call
Okoa Jazz.
Okoa Kenya.
Punguza mzigo.
Saa zingine nasikia mpaka za M-Pesa zinatumikanga. Just kidding. But nonetheless, this has been my take on BBI. I have consistently said that this document is not 100% good. Neither is it 100% bad. That has been my take. And I have approached BBI in 4 different levels. The first level was that one of saying that this document is not perfect. And I have consistently said that. Number 2, I've said that we need to amend some of these what do you call them? Some of these issues put on BBI, proposals put on BBI, like the issue of oversighting judiciary by executive, oversighting police service by executive. Those are some of the issues I have said we have to change. Now, the other issue is we have to insist there are other issues that are not in that document but are of paramount importance to us. For instance, ourselves from the mountain region, we are agricultural-based community. What have we talked about land and agriculture in BBI? That is that thing, insisting those things that are not there must be put there. And then the final one, it is that it is possible I might have requested the 3 things and they will not do it. I am not interested in a contest of us versus them as Muchendu. So if they so wish to take that BBI to the people like that, let it take to Wanjiku. If Wanjiku decides that is good for him or her, let him pass it. There is nothing much you can do. But I'll tell you, the time of reckoning will come. I can tell you that the report by none other than NIS, National Intelligence Service, as reported by some of the...
Walisema 19% ama 19 people. Nauliza tuzi kupata vizuri.
No, they said 19%. Okay. That only 19% of Kenya that is supporting BBI. And I can tell you I am on the ground. It is true. And you know what actually bothers me? Most of the people from my neighborhood who are opposing BBI, they are not opposing it because they have led it. Wengine wajisoma, especially wale wa mama tukienda kwa mazishi na functions, wanasikia mtu amesema BBI, hapana. They have not led it. But I'll tell you, one of the major greatest mistake that President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga have made, it is the failure to select the right people to sell this document. How the hell do you appoint Dennis Wawero, a failure from Dagoretti South? who not only failed in the Great South, he also miserably failed in his attempt for gubernatorial candidature in Nairobi.
Kwani Muchendu kujenga madaraja inahitaji nini?
And then, no, atakufanya nini?
Kujengea kwa madaraja inahitaji nini?
No, you see, wacha nikwambie. We have been saying that this document called Building Bridges Initiative does not have a pathway to the bridge itself. So, when you pick people like Dennis Wawero to come and sell that BBI in central Kenya, who is a failure, look at the, Raila Odinga brings one of his best people in parliament, Junet Mohammed. Hate him, like him, I always like him when he's on the floor of the house in the National Assembly. There is never a dull moment with him on the mic. Wewe na wewe Uhuru Kenyatta unaleta a failure from the Great South. Akuje aongoze BBI Kiambu. Na yeye ni mwanasiasa wa Nairobi.
Si labda haitaki iendelezwe, labda haitaki iongozwe.
You know, I don't know. But this is, ukikuja mpaka kwa ground, unakuta kwetu Kiambu ati Gathoni wa Muchomba ni yeye anakuja kutuambia tupitishe BBI. Surely, do you love yourself bringing Gathoni wa Muchomba to market BBI? No, but ati unakuja kuleta Bishop Gakuyo.